96% of people who hit their first $100,000 will never see it turn into $1 million. Not because they're bad with money, not because the market crashed on them, but because of one decision they make in the next 12 months. A decision so small, so reasonable sounding, that most people don't even realize they're making it until 5 years later when they check their account. And it looks exactly the same as it does today. I've spent over a decade in finance watching this happen to smart, disciplined people over and over again. And if you've just crossed $100,000, or you're close to it, I need you to watch this entire video, because what I'm about to show you is the exact fork in the road. One path takes you to $500,000, then $1 million, then real financial freedom. The other path keeps you stuck at 6 figures for the next decade while you quietly wonder what went wrong. Stick around, because at minute 7, I'm going to show you the single number every American needs to calculate before they invest another dollar. And almost nobody has ever done this math. Section 1, the lie you're about to believe first. Let's give you credit. Hitting $100,000 is genuinely hard. You did it while rent went up, while gas prices spiked, while everyone around you was financing a lifestyle you refused to finance. You said no when it was uncomfortable to say no. That took real discipline, and you should feel proud of it. But here's what I need you to understand. Hitting $100,000 is not the finish line. It's the starting line. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime partner at Berkshire Hathaway, was once asked what the hardest part of building wealth was. He didn't say scaling to $1 million, or navigating a recession, or picking the right stocks. He said the hardest part is earning your first $100,000. Everything after that, he said, gets easier if you don't sabotage it, and that's the trap. The moment your account crosses 6 figures, something shifts in your brain. A voice shows up. It sounds reasonable. It says, "You've earned this. You've driven that car forever. You deserve a nicer apartment. You can finally afford it." That voice is lifestyle inflation, and it is the single fastest way to freeze your net worth in place. It doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like a reward. I watched it happen to myself. Every raise I got early in my career felt like permission to spend a little more. Nicer lunches, better apartment, newer car. And what I didn't notice for years was that while my income was climbing, my savings rate, the percentage I actually kept, was quietly shrinking. I was measuring my progress by what I earned, not by what I kept. There's a name for this. Behavioral economists call it the illusion of affluence, spending in a way that makes you look wealthy, which is almost always the exact thing that prevents you from becoming wealthy. Think about it logically. When you buy a $300 hoodie with a giant logo on it, you're not just buying fabric. You're paying money to advertise a brand for free. They didn't pay you to wear it. You paid them. So the rule at $100,000 isn't never enjoy your money. It's just this. Before any lifestyle upgrade, ask yourself one question. Is this buying me the life I actually want, or the life that looks good to other people? Hold on to that question. We're coming back to it. Section 2, the order of operations. Nobody explains. Here's where almost everyone gets it backwards. They skip straight to the exciting part, picking stocks, watching charts, chasing the next big thing. And they skip the boring part that has to come first. Step 1, kill high interest debt, credit cards, personal loans, anything sitting above 8 to 10%. I know this is the least exciting sentence in personal finance, but there's no version of the stock market that reliably beats 22% credit card interest. The math is working against you every single day you carry that balance. Step 2, build your safety net. 3 to 6 months of essential expenses sitting somewhere boring and liquid. A high-yield savings account, not the market. I don't love calling it an emergency fund because that framing makes it feel like you're bracing for disaster. Think of it instead as your problem solver fund. Its entire job is to turn a crisis into an inconvenience. Car breaks down, solved. Lose your job. You've bought yourself time. This fund is what keeps you from ever having to sell your investments at the worst possible moment. Step 3, and only now, you invest. This is where most of your future growth comes from, but I want to add one disclaimer most creators skip. Investing is not where you should be spending most of your mental energy. Your energy should go into your career, your income, your skills, the things you can actively control. Investing should be the quiet engine running in the background while you focus on making more money today. Too many people cross $100,000 and suddenly think they need to become a serious investor overnight. Learning about options, leverage, PE ratios, day trading strategies. Unless investing is literally your job, this is one of the fastest ways to lose money it took you years to build. Section 3, the number almost nobody calculates. Here's the number I promised you. It's called your freedom number. The amount of money you need invested to never have to worry about money again. Most Americans never calculate this. They invest because they're supposed to, not because they know what they're investing toward. Here's the simple version. Take your annual expenses and multiply by 25. That's rooted in the 4% rule. Historically, you can withdraw about 4% of a properly invested portfolio each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement. Spend $60,000 a year, your number is $1.5 million. Spend $40,000, it's $1 million. This isn't a perfect formula. Inflation, healthcare costs, and market conditions all matter. But it gives you a real target instead of a vague hope. Once you have that number, everything gets clearer. You're not investing for the sake of investing. You're building toward a specific version of your life. Now let's talk about how to invest once you know that number, because the account you use matters almost as much as what's inside it. First, use tax advantage accounts before anything else. In the US, that's your 401k, your Roth IRA, your HSA, if you have one. Here's the simplest way to understand why this matters. Imagine you and a friend both invest $100,000 in the exact same fund, earning the exact same return over 20 years. The only difference is you used a Roth IRA and they used a regular taxable brokerage account. 20 years later, you could be tens of thousands of dollars ahead. It was not because you picked better investments, but because you kept more of what your investments earned. Same investment, better wrapper. Second, never leave employer match money on the table. If your company matches your 401k contributions, say 50 cents on every dollar up to a certain percentage, that is an instant, guaranteed 50% return before your money has even touched the market. There is no investment on earth that reliably matches that. If you're not contributing enough to get the full match, that is the very first thing to fix before anything else in this video. Third, as your wealth grows past 6 figures, revisit your structure. If you're self-employed, the way you pay yourself might not be the most tax efficient anymore. An S-Corp election, a solo 401k, or a SEP-IRA might save you thousands. If you're building wealth outside retirement accounts, understand how capital gains tax actually works, because long-term rates are dramatically lower than short-term ones. You don't need to become a tax expert. You just need to spend a few hours understanding what's available to you. It is one of the highest return uses of your time in your entire financial life. Section 4, think in decades, not months. When money is tight, you think in weeks. How do I make it to Friday's paycheck? That's survival, and it's completely necessary when you're in it. But once you've hit $100,000, if you're still thinking in weeks, you're ignoring the most powerful resource you now have, time. Going from $0 to $100,000 was the hardest, slowest stretch of your entire financial life. Going from $100,000 to $200,000 will be faster, not because you suddenly started earning more, but because your money is now working alongside you. This is exactly what Munger meant. The first $100,000 is uphill on foot. Everything after that, compounding starts doing more of the walking for you. This next stretch is often called the boring middle. a long, unglamorous phase where the numbers move slowly and it feels like nothing is happening. You'll be tempted to do something to speed it up. Don't. Here's the most counterintuitive truth in all of investing. It's the only area of life where more effort often produces worse results. Learning a language, building muscle, growing a business, more effort, more input, generally means better output. Investing is the opposite. The more you tinker, check your portfolio, and try to optimize, the worse your returns tend to be historically. Your job in this phase isn't to do more. It's to not interrupt the process. Section 5, the pressure gets louder, not quieter. Here's the part nobody warns you about. You'd think that once you have money, the pressure to spend it would ease up. It's the opposite. It gets stronger. Your friends start talking about private school for their kids, and suddenly you're considering it too. You move to a nicer neighborhood, and now everyone around you has a nicer car, a nicer vacation, a nicer everything. The people you spend the most time with become the new benchmark, and the pull to keep up has never been stronger, because now, for the first time, you actually can keep up. There's nothing wrong with spending money. The question is why you're spending it. Before any major purchase, ask yourself the opportunity cost. What am I giving up by spending here instead of somewhere else? If the honest answer is, this is genuinely the life I want, then spend it and enjoy it fully. If the answer is, I want people to see me a certain way, pause. That's the illusion of affluence creeping back in. Here's the truth. Crossing $100,000 doesn't guarantee anything. What happens in the next 12 months determines whether you're at $500,000 in 5 years or sitting in the exact same spot, wondering where the time went. You now have a choice most people never consciously make. The choice to build wealth on purpose instead of by accident. If this video helped you see your next step clearly, subscribe, because next week I'm breaking down exactly how to calculate your personal freedom number step by step. And trust me, once you see your real number, you will never look at your spending the same way again.